An introduction to glossing. When people learn another language, they tend to focus on 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. But so far, have you learned to write in ASL? No, not really. Have I given you a book and asked you to read in ASL? No. ASL isn't in those formats. It can't be written. ASL can't be written because it uses 3-dimensional space and time. It uses movement. And grammar is shown in non-manual signals. So if you were writing in ASL, how could you show that your eyebrows were supposed to go up or down, or the kind of facial expression you're supposed to use, or a quizzical look? How could you show the right time for those signs? Therefore, most deaf people are bilingual. They sign ASL and they read and write in English. Some deaf people struggle with English because it's their second language. Sometimes when they write a sentence, they put words in ASL word order instead of in English. But that's not really gloss. So, what exactly is gloss? A gloss is an interlinear translation. Maybe you've already seen some gloss before in your English book. So as you're reading, in between the lines or in the margins, they've added the meaning for some of the words, like maybe arcane words or words that are in a foreign language. A gloss is also a system or code used to represent ASL using English words. Gloss is not a separate language. It's a system like Braille or fingerspelling or Morse code. So, who uses glossing? It's used by linguists for transcription. People who are studying language want an exact way to write down everything that they see signed. It's also used by learners of ASL for analysis. The state of Texas and me both feel that gloss is a good way for you to focus on the grammar and word order separate from vocabulary, so you don't get distracted with how to produce the signs. Most deaf people do not know the rules of glossing. So here's what glossing's really all about. Your goal is to write down exactly what you sign. So that means you always sign a sentence before you start writing it down. One sign means one word. If you don't sign it, throw it out. Don't write it down either. Gloss is written above the English. So if you know that you're going to be writing a gloss, you need to leave spaces in between your English sentences. Gloss is written using capital letters. So write the English in normal letters, and then the gloss above that in capitals, so it'll be clear which one you're using. So I'm going to show you the process of how to gloss using the following example. I went to the football game Friday night. So the first step in the process is to sign the sentence in ASL. Remember, the goal is to write down exactly what you signed. So that means you need to sign it first. ASL sentences have 3 parts. First we talk about time, then we talk about the topic, and the third part is the comment. So, the time is when it happened, the topic is what you're talking about, and the comment is, so, why is it important? Time, in our example, was Friday night. The topic was the football game, and the comment is, I go. Altogether, it looks like this. Friday night, football game, I go. So we're going to choose an English word that best represents each sign. So here's how the gloss looks for that sentence. Friday night, football game, I go. And you might be wondering, why does it say go instead of went? In English, we have to conjugate that verb to the past tense, but in ASL, we use the sign go, whether it's past or future. When you need to use deixis, we're going to use IX. Those are the letters in the middle of the word deixis, but it also are the first and last letters of the word index, which is like to use your index finger to point to something. So we're going to use IX to say that we're pointing, and then we're going to use a hyphen and follow that by what we're pointing to, like over there or the boy. When we need to fingerspell a word, we're going to use a lowercase fs, almost like a whisper to let us know, hey, this needs to be fingerspelled. Then the word that we're actually going to be fingerspelled is going to be in capital letters. I'm going to demonstrate these for you with the next sentence. This is Mary. She likes Chinese food. I'm going to start by signing it first, so here's how it should look. So I started off by pointing at Mary, and then I fingerspelled her name, so fingerspelled Mary. Then the topic was Chinese food, and then I commented on it. Mary likes it. But notice I pointed to Mary again. There are some signs that are just so powerful that one English word isn't enough to represent them, like a directional sign such as help me. If we wrote in our gloss help me as two separate words, we'd be tempted to sign it that way. But help me comes straight towards you, so it's one sign. So we're going to hyphenate it, or see you later. One sign, not three separate ones, even though we need three words in English to represent that concept. So take a minute to think about this sentence. He doesn't like pizza. Sign it to yourself. What words go first? How are you going to gloss that? Here's how I did it. So here's our sentence again in English. He doesn't like pizza. Our topic is pizza, so that's going first. Then we pointed to him, so we used deixis, IX, to whoever he is. And then he doesn't like it. Because of the contraction, that's actually three words in English, but it only takes us one sign, doesn't like. Sometimes the opposite is true. We need two or three signs to talk about one English word. Like, for instance, teacher is two signs, teach plus person. So when we're going to combine those signs together, we're going to use a plus in between them. So here's our next sample sentence. Today is Friday, October 28th. And here's how I signed it. First, today is two signs, now, day, and then we're going to sign Friday. Then we fingerspell October, O-C-T, and sign the number 28. Now that you've learned the basics for how to gloss, I want you to practice on your own for homework. And then you can give it to me the next class period.